All right. This is the Global Access Award information session, and we always start off by sharing who is eligible for the Global Access Award. So, in order to be eligible for the Global Access Award, you need to be a first-generation college student. You need to be an active participant in the AAC or C4E communities, and you need to be CSU TAG, Tuition Assistance Grant recipient or eligible. So if you meet those three criteria, and if you received emails from AAC or C4E telling you about tonight's info session, then we know you to be eligible for the Global Access Award. And that's a good thing. So I really value starting off this presentation just by acknowledging the global pandemic that we're currently in and the impacts that the pandemic has on international travel. So international travel is still restricted due to the pandemic. Certain borders are either closed, or there may be a quarantine requirement to enter that country, or there could be COVID testing required to enter the country. But what I want you to know is that we still have students going abroad, which we're super proud of. We're proud of our students for taking these opportunities to have a thoughtful and conscientious education abroad experience, even during a global pandemic. So we have education abroad applications open for winter break 22 and forward. And winter break is the December 2021 and January 2022 timeframe. Most of the programs are in January 2022. So if you see that an education abroad program is open and accepting applications, then education abroad has hopes that you will be able to travel on that program, and we want you to apply for the program. If we know that a country's border is closed due to the pandemic, then those education abroad applications are not open and you won't be able to apply. So if you do apply for education abroad program, you're going to receive regular emails from our office to keep you up to date on what we know that's going on with COVID-19 surrounding your education abroad experience. If we need to cancel a program, we're always going to do that at least 2 to 4 months prior to the program's departure, generally 4 months or earlier prior to the program's departure. We also want you to have a backup plan for the credits that you were planning to take while you were abroad if your program does get canceled. And I want you to know that CSU has your health and safety as our top priority. So now that we've acknowledged the pandemic, this event that we are all living through, I want to share with you a little bit about the different types of experiences that you can have while you're abroad. So we have students doing traditional study abroad experiences. We have students going abroad to conduct research, students who have internships abroad, and students who participate in either service learning or community engagement while they're abroad. And prior to the pandemic, 1 in 5 CSU undergraduate students, when they graduated from CSU, had had an education abroad experience. And that's something that we're really proud of, and it's something that we work on to create intentional experiences for our students and experiences that have a lot of accessibility built into them. There are so many things, tangible and intangible, that you'll gain from an education abroad experience. So all of the education abroad experiences offered through my office are for credit. So they're academic-based experiences. So you'll receive credit that will transfer to CSU. You'll be able to take courses abroad from experts in the field. You could potentially be taking courses that you wouldn't be able to take in the States or here at CSU. You might be able to hone in a second language that you've known for a long time but haven't been able to kind of be in the environment to hear that language all the time, or you might start a brand new language that you've never studied before, and you're ready to kind of dig in at the entry level when you go abroad. So a lot of academic benefits to going abroad. There are also a lot of benefits for you down the road after you graduate. So if you're applying to graduate school, or if you're looking for jobs or starting a career, having an education abroad experience is a real asset to you. Education abroad teaches us so many things about ourselves and helps us develop skills and helps us highlight talents that existed within ourselves that maybe we didn't know we had until we went abroad. Or maybe it's a skill that we got to develop. We hadn't experienced it yet. We hadn't had the need to use that skill until we went abroad. So employers and grad schools really love to see an education abroad experience in a student's application or on their resume. It speaks to a student's resiliency, their ability to be great communicators across cultures. It demonstrates the awareness of the importance of being a global citizen. And kind of this heart that we see on the screen, the determination and grit and resiliency and curiosity that all come out of an education abroad experience. So all of these aspects get built in to your education abroad experience, and it'll be different for each person who's here tonight. Any experience you have abroad is going to feel different depending on who you are when you go abroad. And then you definitely come back more aware, potentially transformed, and definitely like heightened to this globe that we live on, that we share together. In education abroad, we have over 400 programs for you to choose from. And these are programs that have been vetted not only through my office, but also through the academic departments on campus. So we work with departments on campus to come up with recommended education abroad programs based on major. So regardless of the major, art, civil engineering, natural resources. If you go to our website, you'll see recommended programs lists. And that's a really great jumping off point to discover programs that are related to your academics. So those recommended programs lists are generally 15 to 25 programs that your academic department says this is a good fit or kind of a good jumping off place for you to start exploring programs. We have students that are in pre-pandemic, we had students in over 80 countries in any given year, and we had students on all 7 continents. And our students can go abroad any time throughout the year. So we have programs that run for a traditional 4-month semester, either fall or spring semester. And then we have programs that travel over the breaks, fall break, winter break, spring break, and summer. And then we have programs that run longer. We have calendar year programs and academic year programs. So basically, whatever you want your education abroad experience to look like, we can help you find that program. And we'll talk with you when you meet with an education abroad coordinator. And I'll talk a little bit later about how to schedule with an education abroad coordinator. You can kind of see that we have programs where you would travel just with CSU students. And these are called our CSU staff and faculty-led programs. And both Ricky and Sam, who are here with us tonight, are program leaders on a staff and faculty-led program. So Ricky's program with the AAC, Education and Culture in Morocco, has CSU staff as the program leaders, and then students from the AAC that travel together to Morocco. And then Sam's program, Global Community Activism in Panama, has 2 program leaders from CSU, including Sam, and students from all different backgrounds at the university who travel to Panama. And both of those programs are winter break programs. Sam's program is taking a break this winter break 22, but it'll be back for winter break 23. and Ricky's program is planning to travel this January to Morocco. So that's a little snippet of programs where you would travel with CSU students and CSU staff and faculty. Then we also have programs where you'll meet students from all over the US. So if you went abroad for a semester through one of our affiliates, you would meet other people from all over the US who were all going to Prague in the Czech Republic, for example, and studying through a program, either ISA or some of our other providers in Prague. Sometimes you'll have classes with international students or just CSU students, or classes with local students. And as I mentioned earlier, you can do internships abroad, research abroad, and CSU is the home of Semester at Sea. So CSU started in partnership with Semester at Sea about 3 or 4 years ago. And what's great about Semester at Sea is you travel for 4 months and you're aboard a sailing vessel, like a really large, like a slightly smaller cruise ship. And you're with like 600 to 700 people, faculty and staff on board with all the students. Students are from all over the world. And then you travel on the sailing vessel to different ports all throughout the globe. So your travels might take you from Japan all the way down around Africa, stopping at different points along the way, and then ending in Europe. And you do that all over 4 months. What's neat about Semester at Sea for CSU students is that they offer extra financial aid to CSU students because CSU is the administrative hub for Semester at Sea. So that's a real bonus for everyone in this meeting. When we talk with students about how to choose an education abroad program, there's typically 3 big categories that students think about. And that's what's represented in this Venn diagram. So most students are either thinking budget is number 1 for me. So the cost of my program has to cost either the same amount as I'm paying at CSU or less. Other students might say academics is number 1. I have to make sure I can fulfill these specific courses while I'm abroad. And then another student might say, really, it's about location or about what I want to accomplish while I'm abroad. And for some students, it's kind of this Venn diagram. So they're all there's a little bit of overlap. Maybe one is stronger, but the other 2 are like a close second and third. So as you're looking at programs and kind of thinking, if you haven't decided where you want to go or which program you want to go on, think about these 3 categories to help you narrow down what your goals are for education abroad, and that'll help you more easily define which programs are a good fit for your goals. So just to whet your palate a little bit and get you excited, I wanted to talk about 3 different types of programs that you could partake through CSU Education Abroad. So the first one that I'm going to explain are our exchange programs. So what you see here is the Sydney Opera House in Australia, and we partner with a university about 30 minutes outside of Sydney called Macquarie University, and this is one of our exchange partnerships. An exchange partnership is where CSU and the host international school literally trade students, swap students. So you as a CSU student would enroll at Macquarie University for a semester or a year, and then a student from Macquarie would come to CSU. And we have 20 exchange students at CSU this semester, which we're super excited about because last year we could not physically host any exchange students on campus. So it feels great to know that we've got 20 exchange students here at CSU, and we're excited to be able to send CSU students to these exchange universities. So an exchange education abroad experience is a traditional college or university experience abroad. So you would be staying in housing like students at that exchange university. You'd be either, purchasing your own food or eating in a dining center. You'd be taking classes with Macquarie students, with the students at the exchange university, and you're enrolled at the university. So you're, subject to all their rules and regulations, and you also get to have all the fun that a student has at that exchange university, whatever the traditions are or the culture is of that university. When you look through our program search, all of our exchange programs, after the name of the university, it'll say exchange in parentheses. So it's easy to tell which program is an exchange program. The next type of program that I want to talk with you about is a program through an affiliate provider. So we have several partners, we call them affiliates, that we partner with to bring a variety of experiences to CSU students. So one of those partners is ISA, International Students Abroad, and they have a program in Prague in the Czech Republic. So with this program, students generally stay in either an apartment or in a dorm close to the university, and you'd be on this program with US students from all over the US. And the classes are either at the host university or at a study center that's run by the affiliate provider, in this case, ISA. I'm sharing the program in Prague, Czech Republic. Europe tends to be a popular destination for students. And what's nice about Prague is it's generally more economical than other European countries, and it's also centrally located in Europe. So at this time during the pandemic, we aren't encouraging students to travel outside of their host country because there can be a lot of border restrictions with travel because of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, when and if, and hopefully soon, those restrictions lift, if you were in Prague, in the Czech Republic, you would be really close to a lot of other European countries. So it would be easy to travel to those other countries if that was something you were interested in doing on the weekends or during breaks. And this, both our exchange programs and this program through ISA, these are semester-long programs. And a lot of our affiliate providers will offer shorter term programs, like over a winter break. CIEE offers a January program, and then a lot of our providers also have summer programs as well. And the last type of program model that I wanted to share with you are our CSU staff and faculty-led programs. And I mentioned them earlier that Ricky and Sam are leaders on those programs. CSU has a center, a study center in Todos Santos, Mexico. It's in Baja California Sur, so the southern part of Baja California. And at this study center, many different types of CSU staff and faculty-led programs are received, and you're able to take your courses right at CSU Study Center, and then you're within walking distance of Todos Santos, the town center. It's Pueblo Mágico, like a magical town as designated by the Mexican government. It's also really close to the Pacific Ocean, and Baja itself offers a lot of biodiversity in terms of nature and plants and animals. So it's been a great home base for a lot of our CSU programs. Also, airfare to Baja, to the southern tip of Baja to Cabo San Lucas is where you would fly into. It's fairly economical, and there's no time difference between Colorado and Baja. So that's also a benefit too. Ricky and I are going to share some statements, some testimonials from previous Global Access Award winners. So I'm going to let Ricky start off with this one.
Sure. So Mohammed went to a semester at sea. And what he had said, it was, what made me want to study abroad was the opportunity to gain knowledge and participate in other people's ways of life. Sometimes the only way to fully immerse yourself and understand our dynamic world is by being in the presence of the things we are curious about.
And Valeria went to Ghana in 2018. And Valeria shared, there was a time where I heard that the biggest regret a person had in their college career was not studying abroad. and I saw Ghana as the perfect opportunity to do so. I wasn't sure how I was going to pay, but I knew it was going to be worth it. And then the Global Access Award came along, and it took some stress off my shoulders.
Next up, we have Eric, who went to China in 2018. Eric said, studying abroad in China helped me step out of my comfort zone and experience a different way of life. As a first-generation student, I never thought I'd be able to experience the things I did while abroad. Looking back, it was one of the best experiences of my life. I will never forget the people I met, the places I saw, or the things I learned.
Lynn went to Morocco in 2020 with Ricky, and she shared, on the Education and Culture in Morocco program, I was able to step out of my shell and create a community with my peers while getting the opportunity to experience a new country with them. As well, it made me realize the sense of belonging that can be created with communities and other cultures. I felt supported and cared for by my host family, by my peers, and by the abroad program itself.
Next up, we have Dominica, who went to Nicaragua. And Dominica said, Nicaragua is such a lovely place to be. My host family took me in as if I was truly one of their own. I was able to immerse into their culture by learning their way of cooking, cleaning, traditions, dancing, and so much more. The passport program lifted a huge weight off my shoulders when they granted me a free passport. Everyone in the program was genuine, supportive, and truly cared about my journey to Nicaragua. Without this team, I would have been stressed and financially concerned doing it on my own. 5 years ago, I would have never thought I would have the opportunity to study abroad. College was out of reach, making study abroad seem nearly impossible. I am forever grateful and will live through their passions of hard work and purity. Goodbye for now and forever in my heart, #Rams Abroad. So yeah, I'm gonna jump in and kind of talk a little bit about the financial aspect, kind of what we're here focusing about a Global Access Award. One of the major things you're going to make sure is that you're eligible for financial aid to be eligible for the grant itself. So just some as reminders. This award would be available for programs with academic credit. So the programs that Vanessa is talking about for us today, whether that be an exchange program or faculty-led, you're going to want to make sure that it's a CSU like program with academic credit. You're also going to want to make sure that you're a full-time student. So taking at least 12 credits during the semester, whether that be a fall semester or a spring semester. If you're traveling over the summer, that's going to be a 6-credit line. If you're thinking of traveling over winter break, the winter break is included in your spring semester. So the credits that you earn over your winter break program are going to go into the pool in spring semester. So whether that be a 1-credit, 2-credit program, you can count it within your spring semester schedule that way too. Okay. And so thinking about kind of some funding opportunities, your scholarships and your financial aid travel with you. And that is a huge amount of financial aid that could potentially travel with you. So looking at the screen here, there's a few examples of what that means. So if you're receiving grants from CSU, that would be available to use towards your education abroad experience. If you're receiving loans, such as the subsidized, unsubsidized loans, you could definitely use those towards your abroad experience. And same goes for the Community for Excellence Awards. So if you're receiving a partnership award, such as Denver Scholarship Foundation or your First Generation Award, you can also use that towards funding your abroad program. The only two kind of things that really don't transfer would be things like work study, since you're going to be working and you got to be working in Colorado to do that, and the College Opportunity Fund, since that's a Colorado-based scholarship, and that wouldn't be able to travel with you. The Global Access Award specifically is really a great partnership between 4 different offices on campus. So Academic Advancement Center, Community for Excellence students are the ones who are traveling. We work with our education abroad partners, and as well as financial aid, which isn't listed on this, but a huge help financial aid in how we get student support throughout this experience. The Global Access Award is really focused on that support aspect from the very planning phase of thinking about going abroad, throughout your abroad program, and then also when you return from your abroad program. So what we have done is kind of crafted what we call our Global Scholars Academy. So there's a few different things that come with the Global Access Award, if not just the money part of it, but also the support. So the Global Scholars Academy, we'll get back to that, but for all, the Global Access Award would specifically cover up to $3,000 towards specifically education abroad expenses. So here are the requirements. You need to be a first-generation college student, so that meaning that you neither parent receiving a bachelor's degree. You need to be eligible for the tuition assistance grant. So our partners in financial aid will help us determine that. If you received the email invite for this information session, then we have already determined that you would be eligible for this grant. You need to be an active participant in either of these communities, Community for Excellence or the Academic Advancement Center. So if you haven't scheduled your meetings with your scholar contact or your retention specialist, now is a great time to check in with them, because we want to make sure that you're really an active participant within those. And also completing the Global Scholars Academy, which we'll kind of go through a little bit here. So requirements in terms of for the award, but these are great requirements that we think are going to be supportive for you throughout the experience too. So the Global Scholars Academy, we can break it down into kind of 3 different steps. So before applying even, you're going to want to meet with a financial aid coordinator for education abroad. So that is Cindy, who's with us today, and also Evelyn Martinez. We have a really handy link to be able to schedule with them just directly from the Education Abroad website. And so we're going to drop that here in a second. You also want to make sure that you meet with an Education Abroad coordinator. So these 2 meetings, they're going to help you not only identify where you want to go and what kind of program would make most sense for you to help align with your goals or your wants within this kind of opportunity, but they're also going to help you out with the funding and making sure that your finances are exactly where you want to be and that you are feeling knowledgeable and prepared in terms of like the funding aspect of these programs. So if you would like to schedule meetings online, we do have a handy link here. We're going to drop that into the chat box. You can use this link to schedule with either actually Education Abroad coordinator as well as the financial aid coordinator. And you're going to want, I would encourage you to complete these meetings early so that they can give you the most updated information and that you are prepared for the next steps. So just before after you apply, and if you are selected for the Global Access Award, before departure, there is a community event that we call the Community Dialogue. And this is an opportunity to meet with other award winners and talk about really a good conversation around identity, around what it means to be a first-generation student studying abroad. What does it mean to be a student of color going abroad? And if there are concerns or thoughts about the program that you would like to share with us, just being really intentional about what this experience means for you. That way we can get the most out of it in the next steps throughout the actual program. There are also pre-departure requirements in your My Ed Abroad application. So your Education Abroad coordinator who's helping you with this program is going to be able to give you step-by-step directions on all the information that they're going to need from you. A good chunk of it is very vital. It's stuff like your passport, allergy information, vaccines and such like that. So super helpful information, but we'll help you out getting all that, but we need to make sure that's all done before you travel. The next step, which isn't here, but it's going on your program, having a great time, hopefully, and just kind of experiencing all that you do. And then when you get back, the support continues. We have a Suitcase Stories reflection event, which is an opportunity to come back, re-meet with all of the other award winners, and you can share about your experiences, talking about what did you What did you witness through? What kind of learning happened throughout that? And in what ways can you take this experience into the future to really help you inform the next steps of whatever experiences that you want to have? And we really hope that it's a good full circle event for you to kind of share and really reflect in both identity and the learning that happens within these programs. Some helpful deadlines for y'all. It's the Global Access Award. I think one of my favorite things about it is just the straightforward application process. The Global Access Award is included within the Education Abroad Scholarship Common Application. So not only are you applying for the Global Access Award when you complete that application, you're actually applying for the variety of other awards available through Education Abroad. And there's a variety of other awards there that you could be eligible for as well. So that application is pretty darn straightforward. It's about like 3 essays long. I definitely encourage you to be very thoughtful about how you write those essays, because if things are competitive, then we're really going to be looking, how is this student really going to gain the most out of the award? And we want to hear that from you. But we're excited to hear more. Deadlines for you, if you are looking into winter break 2022 programs, so again, that's this coming winter break, your deadline for this, the common application is going to be September 15th. So mark that on your calendars, make sure that you have your meetings done well before that, but September 15th is going to be that program application deadline and the award application deadline. If you're thinking of traveling in spring break or the spring semester or the calendar year of 2022 to 2023, you're going to do the application for October 15th, so coming up just about a month later. Yeah, another good, so that's going to be coming up again soon. So we will be hosting another information session just before that deadline. So if you need some refreshers, we'll be happy to chat with you. And if you're thinking about traveling further in the future, April 1st, and then again on October 1st are those other program deadlines to look out for in the future. If you're really planning for maybe something like semester at sea or something like that, you really want to plan it within your degree program, those are the dates to keep in mind. Cool.
I want to talk to you a little bit more about other scholarships that are out there. So we've talked so much about Global Access Award. Ricky gave a great overview, and I want you to know that there are other scholarships that you can apply for your Education Abroad program. So with the Education Abroad Scholarship Common Application, you'll also be considered for OIP, that stands for Office of International Programs, Need, Merit, and a Disability Award. We have a separate scholarship called the Passport Scholarship. It has a separate application, and this scholarship is for students who don't already have a passport. The application deadline is coming up on September 13th of 2021, so in just less than 2 weeks. And with the Passport Scholarship, if you're awarded, you receive enough funding to apply for the Passport Scholarship. So currently a passport is $110 for the application. Also just note, since we're talking about passports, passport processing time is increased. It's longer than it normally is because of the pandemic and because of delays in mailing. So the federal government that oversees passports in the US is saying to allow yourself 18 weeks to get your passport. So if you're planning on traveling anytime in the near future, I would suggest that you apply for your passport as soon as possible to make sure that you can receive it on time prior to departure. The Gilman Scholarship Award. So Benjamin A. Gilman Nationally Competitive Scholarship is for students who are Pell Grant eligible and participating in an education abroad experience of any length of time. So they used to have a requirement that you had to be abroad for 21 days, and just earlier in August, they got rid of that requirement. So your program length doesn't matter anymore. There are 2 application deadlines per year for Gilman. There's one in early October and then another one in late February or early March. And we'll be having an information session on Gilman on Monday, September 20th at noon. And in International Programs calendar, you can see the details on the Gilman presentation. It's also going to be virtual. But if you're Pell Grant eligible, I definitely recommend that you apply for the Gilman Scholarship. And the scholarship amounts, I think, are somewhere between $3,000 to $5,000 normally with Gilman. So pretty decent dollar amount on that scholarship. There's an organization called Diversity Abroad. They also offer scholarships. You can link to all of these other scholarships on the URL that you see right below the title. So I would encourage you to go to our website and start looking through our scholarship pages. We have them organized as internal to CSU scholarships and external to CSU scholarships. Mentioned earlier, Semester at Sea offers great funding for CSU students if you're interested in that program specifically. And then several CSU departments and offices also offer scholarships, and those are listed on our website. So we talked about advising for financial aid and education abroad, and Ricky dropped the link in the chat. It is a requirement of the Global Access Award that you do have advising by a specific deadline for the Global Access Award. So depending on the time or the term that you plan to be abroad, make sure that you have your appointments by the deadline. And you'll be having an appointment, one with financial aid, either Evelyn or Cindy, and then the second with the Education Abroad coordinator for the program that you're traveling on. We've got contact information here for the two offices, Education Abroad and Financial Aid. These emails are also on our website. Just wanted to give you a brief overview of the Education Abroad team and Financial Aid for Education Abroad team. So you can see everyone's pictures here and the regions of the world that the Education Abroad coordinators oversee. You don't need to remember the regions of the world that folks oversee when you're scheduling an appointment with us. Your options are just going to be regional coordinator for Latin America or regional coordinator for Europe, and then you can select based on that. If you want to come and visit Education Abroad, we're on the Oval in the Northeast section in Laurel Hall. And we, this semester, are taking up all appointments. We don't have walk-in advising except for Mondays and Wednesdays when our peer advisors are in the office. So the details on when we have walk-in advising is on our website, but otherwise we're doing advising via appointment, and so is financial aid. So for the most part, if you're scheduling with financial aid, you'll be meeting with them in Laurel Hall. And when you schedule an appointment with us, we send you confirmation details and it tells you where the appointment is. And we're also offering virtual advising. So you have the option of both in-person or virtual advising this fall semester. Education Abroad is within CSU's International Programs unit. And we have so many international students at CSU that would love to connect with you if you're interested in connecting with international students and the internationalization of CSU's campus. So one of the cool things we have is a Conversation Partners program, and either Ricky or I will drop that link into the chat. So with Conversation Partners, this is a fall program, and we pair domestic students like yourself with international students. So we either do one-on-one pairing or a two-on-one, like a trio, and you're paired for the semester, and it just gives you the opportunity to meet someone from a different culture while staying here at CSU and creating greater community through that program. International Programs also offers virtual and in-person events throughout the semester, and they're all on our calendar on our website. So I would encourage you to check some of those out. And these pictures here kind of give you some ideas of some programs that we've offered in the past. So we really hope that you're feeling inspired, and I hope you're continuing to think about where am I going and what are my next steps? How am I going to get there? Here you'll see more contact information for the folks who introduced themselves to you earlier. I am going to stop sharing my screen so I can see you all if you're out there. It's so weird to present because all I can see is just one little square. So I got to see Ricky for a while, but I'm glad to be back here. But we will open things up. If anybody has questions, you can unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can put your question in the chat.
Would I be taking the rest of my classes online?
So the question was, would you take the rest of your classes online? Do you mean like your classes abroad?
Yeah, like while you're gone.
Yeah, so while you're gone, your courses will be in person. So your courses abroad will be in person, and you generally wouldn't be taking any courses at CSU simultaneously. So if you go abroad during a break, then you're taking your 1 or 2 courses abroad during that break. Or if you go abroad for a whole semester, then you're taking your full course load, 12 credits or more, abroad. Does that make sense? Can I clarify that? Okay,
Yes,
and
thank you.
awesome. You're welcome. I see that Isabel was wondering about the Conversation Partners program. I'm going to put that link in the chat right now. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Question about a meeting link for the Gilman Award. If you follow the link posted by Cindy Maris, you can actually register for that information session, and that will get you that link there.
I got a quick question. So regarding the Global Access Award, how many awards are going to be provided for the students? Like how many people are going to get it?
It has been a competitive award, so not everyone who applies gets the award.
What's the usual numbers of students like from previous semesters?
Yeah, I think it's generally been about 50 to 60 students a year who receive the Global Access Award.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question. These are good questions. Anybody else?
In terms of finding out where and when you should study abroad, would that be a better question to take up with your academic advisor or one of the education abroad advisors?
That is a great question. And I would bring that up with my academic advisor first, because they can talk with you about your major requirements, the courses that you need to complete in order to graduate, and when historically has been a good time for students in your major to go abroad.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you can definitely start exploring programs with our office before you share that information with your academic advisor. But you're going to want to share with them sooner rather than later if education abroad is part of your future plans and goals.
Okay.
I'll just add on to that last question, if you don't mind. Moving forward with the classes, is that something that's put together by your academic advisors, or does each program have specific classes that are offered? Like, is there a class list for the program? and then you would double check to make sure that you're crossing off your degree requirements, or how exactly does that work?
Yeah. So if it's a CSU staff and faculty led program, or if it's semester at sea, then all of those classes are transcripted through CSU, and they show on your CSU transcript, and the grade that you take for the class is part of your CSU cumulative GPA. If it's an exchange program or an affiliate program, then you're going to take some time before you depart to identify, if you're going abroad for a whole semester, you're going to take a look at the course list from the program and pick 8 to 10 classes that seem like they would be a good fit for you, your academic goals, what you need to complete before you graduate. You're going to give that form to the registrar's office, and the registrar's office is going to determine whether or not that course will transfer back. So you'll also be providing a syllabus for each of the classes generally, and you'll be able to get that syllabus with the course list. The registrar's office is going to say whether the course will be upper division or lower division. Then the second step is, after it's been reviewed by registrars, you take the form to your academic advisor. And the academic advisor says, okay, of the 8 to 10 classes that you've identified, registrars is only going to approve 8 of them. So now from these, I'm just giving an example. So now from these 8, this is what these 8 classes will fulfill within your major, within your degree requirements. And it may only be 5 that could count towards
so
something
really
in CSU.
you're looking to substitute those classes for required classes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so you start with a higher amount, because if you're going abroad for a semester, you want to have 4 to 5 classes. So you start with 8 to 10.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, it's about 5 o'clock. So if there aren't any further questions, we will wrap it up and say goodbye. And you know how to reach us. You can reach out to any one of us who are here today. So thanks so much for taking this time, investing in yourself and your future education abroad. Y'all are awesome. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thanks,
Thank
folks.
you.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.